Happy Friday, or rather, I should say, happy modified Monday. You know, it honestly really feels like a Monday, even though today's a Friday and tomorrow it's gonna be it's gonna be a breather over the weekend. It really feels like everyone is back from vacation, but yet, like, tomorrow and the following day, people are going back on vacation here. I despise the New Year's being like smack dab in the middle of the week. I believe it was a couple years ago, might have been 2023. New Year's was actually on a Friday, and it was beautiful. Like, the market opened with the brand new year starting on Monday. It was awesome. We have a lot to talk about in this video, so if you are new here, I kind of do ramble on a little bit. But it's a good rambling on because I go into detail of many, many different things. Check out my previous video that I did upload because I officially started a $100,000 account, a public account challenge. I am calling it the Bung Profile. Yes, like Beavis and Butthead, for those of you immature people like myself. Bungholio, the Bung Profile. So many different YouTubers out there, they do public profile challenges. I like being authentic and keeping it real, so I'm going to nickname this the Bung Challenge. I did buy some stock early this morning. It is 10:04 a.m. here, Eastern Standard Time frame. I've been up since 5:55 a.m., rocking and rolling. You know, it really does suck because, like, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be like, oh man, I wish the stock market was open. I wish today was a Tuesday. It's gotta be patient. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into. We like I said, we have a lot to talk about. Talk about the stock that I just bought. What's my game plan? If the market pretty much takes off running, where we're actually seeing a lot of positive momentum, kind of really push back a little bit into the market. It really does feel like everyone just came back from vacation, but is this truly going to last over the next couple weeks? I personally have a game plan for either direction. I've been talking about that over the last couple weeks here on this channel, and we're going to go into a quick little market update, talk about SoFi's earnings date has been officially released. SoFi is covered on this channel a lot because it's the largest position of mine on my two accounts, my public and also private profile. I'm a humongous SoFi bull. I believe that 2026 and 27 is going to be massive years. It could very well bleed into 2028. And I've done my due diligence, and I'm not a financial advisor, so anything that I say here is really what I'm personally doing. Take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research like I have. Spend hours like I have. Educate yourself all around these companies. And essentially, when it comes down to it, I trust the management team. I'm not hoping on the management team. We'll talk about that probably in a different episode. But there is a difference between gambling and investing and also trading. You can be a short-term, you can be a long-term trader based on trusting the management team. Or you could be a long-term investor. But if you hope that the management team's going to execute, you're gambling. Straight up gambling. So we're not hoping that the management team at SoFi is going to perform. They have been performing. Just like AMD, Palantir, Robinhood, Meta, Adobe, Honest, and PayPal. I'm actually looking at a new position to potentially own here. And then to close up this video, we're going to be talking about Robinhood. Okay, so SoFi, straight off the bat, SoFi's earnings date has been official. It is January 30th at 8 a.m. for the conference call. So earnings, it looks like it's going to be dropped that Friday. The Federal Reserve is going to be meeting that Wednesday, the 28th of January, the Federal Reserve rate cut decision. Now, theoretically, SoFi has been doing their earnings typically earlier in the week. A lot of the times it falls on Taco Tuesday. One of my favorite days out of the week. It's kind of a little weird that SoFi is doing it a little later. However, SoFi did give us that it's going to be anywhere between January 26th and January 30th. So it's not bad that they're doing it after the Federal Reserve meeting. And I'm almost positive the reason they're doing this is because they want to see if the Fed, whatever SoFi is going to give as guidance, because it would be stupid. Imagine if Anthony Noto comes out on Taco Tuesday and he gives guidance and then says, well, if the Fed does this, if the Fed does that, it's going to confuse people. And it's also going to scare weak-minded people as well. Scare people into selling their shares or scare people to FOMO on in. So by doing earnings on Friday, January 30th, the Federal Reserve is already going to convene. We're going to know if we are going to be getting an interest rate cut or not. We're going to have guidance by the Federal Reserve too. Morning water, cheers. And it can go ahead and show us what type of guidance SoFi is going to be putting out for the next quarter. Because if the Federal Reserve comes out for whatever reason and says, hey, we're going to cut 50 basis points and then we're not going to cut at all. Or we're going to cut 25 basis points and we're not going to cut anymore until I leave in May. Or Powell comes out and says, yeah, we're going to go ahead and cut 25 basis points. We're data dependent. Right now, the data for the previous month is showing the labor market, showing some weakening. We're gonna, do another interest rate cut like we did in December. December rate cut was not guaranteed, and we got one because of the data. So therefore, if the data in the upcoming weeks here, and we're going to be covering the data here, if the data is trending down, such as inflation's going down, the labor market is deteriorating, which is bad, more than likely, we could very well get another January rate cut. What is going to be on the table for March? February, I believe there's no FOMC meeting. Don't quote me on that. Almost positive here. But we could be maybe going into March with, a possibility. So SoFi's earnings is going to be driven and based on that. And I'm actually really glad it's after the Federal Reserve. Really glad. Because maybe this time we're not just going to do a typical sell-off in a way like where it's seriously. SoFi typically rallies before their earnings, and then they blow earnings out of the water, and then they just go ahead and just trend down. It's very annoying, but as a longtime shareholder, you just are either buying discounted shares or just being patient at the end of the day. There's nothing wrong with the fundamentals at SoFi. The company is massively growing. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some market updates really quickly. Let's look at Bitcoin here. We've been tracking Bitcoin a lot here over the last month and a half now. And as we are seeing the moving averages, yes, moving averages do matter. I understand for long-term investing, a lot of people don't really like to look at moving averages. I am a long-term investor of SoFi, AMD, but I'm also a trader because there are stocks that I currently own that, hey, I have a trading plan where if they go ahead to my price level over the next 6, 9, 12 months, I'm going to be taking profits. I'm not looking to really be in some of these positions here for the long term like I am for SoFi and AMD, which is the reason why SoFi is on top. SoFi, I'm definitely looking to hold for the next probably decade because the management team has given me the next decade blueprint, and Anthony Noto has thrown around the T word, which is absolutely crazy. But if all these banks go to what SoFi is doing, the fintech route, we could see banks like JP Morgan accelerate like crazy, especially if they do pick up something along the fintech side. And SoFi is a disruptor in a banking sector. That is the type of company that you really want to look for and be in, is a company that comes into a very slow area like banks that don't really see massive growth too much and they just give dividends. But you got SoFi that is a all-in-one shop. They're a fintech. So there's going to be a lot of discovery over the next many years of SoFi, and I'm willing to go ahead and take that ride for the long term. But moving averages are very important. I do teach and I do know technical analysis, TA, all about moving averages, and also fundamental analysis, FA, knowing every single thing that a company's doing on their balance sheet, knowing their margins, their growth rates, their debt, their EBITDA, what their vision and dream is. If a management team is providing you hope, or if a management team is providing you execution. Anthony Noto, he's providing execution. He's not really providing hope. He's telling you what they're going to do. So that's not gambling in a way. It's more so, hey, we're executing. You just got to be patient. That's what it comes down to. Okay, so Bitcoin, we are consolidating still, but the moving averages are resetting. So we got the 50-day moving average. It's pretty much resetting here. What was resistance is now support. So we really got to get above this 50-day moving average. We really got to trend higher as we enter into January. Maybe at the end of the month, if we continue to trend up slowly, maybe we can go ahead and reclaim the low $90,000 level, and really provide stability in the crypto sector. Because if Bitcoin is not going to fall off a cliff here, and we are not going into one of these weird cycles of Bitcoin, we could very well see this gigantic move up in Bitcoin. And it pretty much looks like we just finished doing a head and shoulders, which of course is bearish. You got, you basically got the shoulders here, and then you got the head up here, and then now we can start potentially moving back up and continue on a bullish uptrend. Or if that's not going to be the case and we actually go all the way down, I know this is going to sound a little hard to hear for my crypto bulls out there. You're talking about like down in 60K. What could that potentially do? Well, the NASDAQ and Bitcoin theoretically should be trending the same way. Essentially, Bitcoin is kind of like really a hedge on like the NASDAQ primarily, also the major indexes, but they do very follow in suit. If the market is risk on, Bitcoin is going to be very, very heavily traded and at all-time highs and going higher. Bitcoin is a risk-on asset, and it tells you if people are taking risk, i.e. they're FOMOing on in. You got margin. I'm not a margin trader. I don't believe in trading on margin, but it very much is a risk-on asset here. So if Bitcoin is really lagging or going down, but the market's going up, that's kind of something we haven't really seen per se. Anything is possible, but we really... Let me put it this way. I would feel more bullish if Bitcoin definitely started recovering. So that's that. Pretty much on the major indexes here, we're still above the 50-day moving average. The Qs still above the 50, pretty much recovered from this gigantic drawdown here. And also a little over 2 weeks ago now, we're basically staying just in a low uptrend like environment, in my opinion. We're not really seeing a massive push down, but we're also not seeing a massive push like to the upside here. So that's really pretty much about for the market update. AMD is actually doing AMD news 1 hour ago. So I honestly think it's some articles that are pushing up AMD here. We'll get to them momentarily. So basically, pretty much for the market update for indexes, I mean, right now the market is fairly green for the indexes. You got precious metals, you got VIX, not spiking up, just a little bit green here, but overall, I mean, it looks kind of pretty solid if you're just looking at some of the indexes. Obviously, individual stocks right now are very different here. And as I'm actually talking and we're moving into 10:18 a.m., I'm actually seeing some of my positions actually turn more so red here. Okay, so what stock did I actually buy today? Well, believe it or not, I actually bought some Robinhood today. Okay, so I ended up buying 2 shares. I'm still sitting on a lot of uninvested capital on this profile here. One of the rules that I'm giving to myself for this Bung profile challenge is that I'm going to be depositing $125 at the start of every Monday. But I did pull over 2,500. Did I just say I'm going to be depositing 2,500? Oh man, I've been talking way too long. I'm going to be depositing every Monday $125, not $2,500. Otherwise, this account challenge would be over very quickly just by me moving money over, being a little stupid. Every Monday, I'm going to be putting into this account $125. If the market nosedives, then I'm giving myself $5,000 to play with. Otherwise, I did add in $2,500 right before the year ended up closing. And the reason being is because the way things were going last week, it felt like the market was going to nosedive. Maybe we get a nosedive on Monday. Maybe we get a pullback. I'm going to be buying more stock. But why did I buy Robinhood? So the last couple weeks, I have been... or actually, the last couple months, I've been buying a lot of stock. I ended up buying over $30,000 worth of stock in the last couple months. I was actually very underinvested in the market. I am a big advocator of buying the fear because that is how you make money. If you're a long-term investor, you buy the fear and you just pick up discounted shares for the future. If you are a trader, you buy the fear, you buy the dip, you sell the rip. During COVID, I got into the market 2020, bought the COVID dip, sold on the massive higher after the vaccines, election day, made a lot of money. Did the same thing throughout 2021. 22 was a rough ride for me. 23, I got my ass whooped because I was very much dabbling in a lot of penny stocks. 2024, last summer, I was buying stock like crazy. After the election, everyone was FOMOing on in. I started selling. Absolutely selling. Liberation Day, I went all in. I ended up selling this year a little bit too early. I ended up selling at the end of June, July. Probably could have sold, but once again, probably could have sold in August and September. Once again, you're never going to buy the bottom. You're never going to sell the top. Someone that actually taught me how to do all this, that was their philosophy, believe it or not. And the person who taught me how to do all this is a young 30-year-old sitting on a well beyond 8 figures. Well beyond 8 figures. The guy has made a killing from being a day trader, swing trader, not really so much like long-term investing in a way, but still, the ideology of buying the fear on great companies that are just being beaten down because, oh, everyone's scared, it will make you life-changing money. Okay, so why did I buy some Robinhood shares here? Well, if you've been watching my videos over the last couple months now, I said that I would feel comfortable owning a $4,000 position size of Robinhood. Well, guess what? about a month ago, Robinhood recovered, and this position was about 25% to the upside. Yeah, my Robinhood position was up by 25%. Now it's not even up by 1%. Not even up by 1%. It's totally retraced. Like, it's unreal. Here is the key word. I would feel comfortable owning a $4,000 position size of Robinhood on this profile. Would I feel good owning a $5,000, a $6,000 position size? I actually would feel really good. Why would I have a $4,000, $5,000 position size? Is because if Robinhood falls off a cliff here, I'm going heavy. So I've been buying SoFi on my main profile. My go figure. My main account is Robinhood. Back in early 2024, I actually was looking at Robinhood, and I was actually looking at SoFi. I chose to invest in SoFi. On my main profile, my SoFi position is massive. It's nearly 50K. My average is $7.41. Massive, massive returns. Almost up over 300%. The reason I chose SoFi is because I did not want to theoretically use the same platform because I have Robinhood as my brokerage. I don't also want to own it might be a stupid ideology, but that's the way that I was really thinking, and that's how I chose SoFi. Not to mention, to be honest, I actually I like Anthony Noto's personality a little more. Call me a little biased and might be stupid, but Robinhood's a great company. I've never been a shareholder of Robinhood, but let's go ahead and look at the technical analysis on Robinhood right now. Technical analysis, where are you? Where are you, technical analysis? Hold on. Robinhood. Here we go. Okay, so Robinhood is basically pretty much touching where they were almost about a month and a half ago now. There's a lot of fear in this stock, significantly, utterly fear in this stock. And honestly, it's comes down to a couple things. So, firstly, I just want to go ahead and pull up two articles here, or rather, I should say two things. And by the way, all this stuff is literally bullshit. You can look at so many of these articles and just laugh, refusively. I'm almost positive this is the reason why AMD is actually maybe spiking a little bit, is because the sentiment is really good. There's a lot of really good sentiment right now around AMD. But if we go ahead and actually look at Robinhood, it's actually kind of really the opposite. But ask yourself, is there anything wrong with this company? Is there anything wrong with this company other than just a lot of fear and a lot of nonsense articles? I do cover articles on this channel, but I cover them from a common sense point of view, because you could very well be a company and you could pay a lot of companies that put out these articles to write a really good piece about you. I was in a lot of penny stocks in 2023, and there were so many great articles on, this penny stock is going to be awesome. This penny stock is going to be awesome. Yeah, it went to the friggin' ground and went into the earth. It sucked. So you always got to go ahead and look at articles with a grain of salt. But I ended up asking Gemini to actually put together some basic stuff for me. So Robinhood growth and crypto intelligence here. And we're pretty much looking from 2023, just massive revenue growth, along with a lot of their revenue growth is coming from cryptocurrency, which it's making a lot of people feel extremely bullish, especially people that are very much into the crypto market. But as you basically see right here, you have Robinhood total revenue year over year, and then transaction revenue as well, based around crypto. It's following suit. The more that they dabble into crypto, the higher their revenue is essentially going. Now, a lot of people are really looking at this and saying, okay, well, if Bitcoin is going to be selling off, does that mean Robinhood is going to, follow suit? This is where you have to go ahead and zoom out and ask yourself, do you trust the management team? Because if cryptocurrency kind of really dips down, is the CEO, Vad, of Robinhood, is he going to come out and be like, well, monkey nuts, I guess that's it, guys? Or is he an innovator? Mark Zuckerberg is probably one of the underrated young CEOs that Wall Street has ever criticized in the history of the stock market. I mean, yes, obviously Musk was a laughing stock, and to be honest, you could probably most likely still say the same thing now to some Wall Streeters, since there's a lot of political stuff around that. But that is very similar, in my opinion, to Mark Zuckerberg. Because Mark Zuckerberg was a laughing stock of the stock market for the longest time, because the Wall Streeters, all the boomers, I'm a 37-year-old. I mean, I've done a lot in my life. I have military background. I'm a small business owner, not to mention a published author. If someone is twice my age, they're going to call me a kid regardless of what I've done, even if I've done more than they have. That's just the way the older generations are. So you have an innovator like Mark Zuckerberg comes along, he gets called a kid, and then Wall Street gets him finally, and then it's off to the races. Now, do I see the same situation as with Robinhood CEO? Oh, yeah. Like, I trust the management team. So, here's the realistical thing about Robinhood. If we get into a scary time with Robinhood, we could get back into the $100 range. We could maybe fall all the way like we did back in November. Friday, November 21st, 102. We could go to the 200-day at 97. If we fall below here and go into a full-blown crash, we may go all the way to the 66. If this thing falls off a cliff, I'm going to be smiling like crazy. I'm going to be loading the boat, and that's personally what I'm going to be doing. Because the thing about Robinhood, and I just want to make sure, yes, I do see that I'm 27, 28 minutes talking. I apologize, but there is so much to talk about here. Market update, SoFi earnings, and then we're covering Robinhood. Okay, yep, I'm hitting all the key points here. SoFi, Robinhood, sorry. Coinbase and Hood is very similar. Like, I remember looking at Robinhood during this period, and I'm like, no friggin' way. I was dead wrong. Absolutely dead wrong. But what was happening during this period of 2023? You had Bitcoin. Just look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Just terrible. Terrible. Now look at Coinbase. Coinbase is essentially really the same exact thing. So if cryptocurrency, I actually haven't really looked at Coinbase in a while. This actually is a very, this stock is, this is a, oh man, Coinbase was actually not even a stock I was even considering about looking at or really potentially owning, but I got a deep dive into Coinbase because just looking at this stock, it is what first of all, Coinbase is let me ask you this question straight up. What is the number one most well-known trading platform among the younger generation? Robinhood. What is the number one cryptocurrency trading platform? Coinbase. We are literally seeing Coinbase in a very similar suit as Robinhood and also as Bitcoin. I actually really have not looked at Coinbase in a while. Coinbase is really beaten down more than Robinhood. I got to do a deep dive, honestly, into. I'm just a little shell shocked. I'm so sorry. I just got off topic here. But what do we really notice? We notice Coinbase is definitely even more beaten down below the moving averages. Robinhood has not even gone down to a beaten down level, but it's all essentially just fear. I mean, Robinhood is still putting up great numbers. If they put up great numbers for this earnings, I mean, do you trust the management team? I honestly haven't really done a deep dive into the management team of Coinbase, to be honest. But I did a deep dive into the management team of Adobe here. Yeah, I see Adobe selling off. If Adobe peaks a little low, maybe I'll pick up some more shares, not entirely sure. But the whole reason I got into Adobe is because I listened to a couple conference calls and I'm like, you want to know what? I've never listened to their management team before. They sound friggin' confident. We have record-breaking AI sales for Cyber Monday and Black Friday. They sound very confident. So, the same exact thing about Robinhood is, do you trust the company? I do. So going back to my premise about what I said about 2 months ago, I would feel confident owning a $4,000 position size of Robinhood. I was not buying aggressive enough on Robinhood 2 months ago. I may get another chance here. I may get another chance on Robinhood to increase this position size to 4,000. Because honestly, I would really like my Robinhood position size on this profile to be larger than Palantir. I honestly see Robinhood, the run is just not over. Now, I'm not saying Palantir is a bad company. I've been in and out of Palantir since it was in the teens. Yes, I was buying Palantir $14, $15, $16. Honestly, I should have held Palantir. That was my fault. But I did make tens of thousands of dollars in profits. Could have made over six figures, though. But I feel that SoFi is going to produce me a lot of returns in that aspect. Robinhood, I see a lot more potential, especially because of the business alignment. And the guy is a friggin' innovator, just like Alex Karp, just like Anthony Noto, just like Mark Zuckerberg. So, if Robinhood falls off a cliff here, oh yeah, you can bet your bum that I'm going to be building a $4,000, $5,000, maybe even $6,000 position size on this profile. Because, I mean, it's essentially just really fair. And if Bitcoin is not going into a downward cycle and we see a no crap recovery on Bitcoin, I think tomorrow's video is going to be Coinbase related. Yeah, this video is way too long. It already is. So I'm going to leave you all on this note. Happy Friday. I will be uploading a new video tomorrow. If you enjoyed this, smash the like button, subscribe for future content. I try to keep these videos real here. Yeah, take it easy, everyone. Hopefully everyone had a great New Year's Eve, and also Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate. And this market is, it's going to be interesting over the next couple weeks. I cannot wait. Woo! All right, later, everyone.